right next to every single hero. That's just what Eggman does, apparently. Now that I'm looking back, this scene really recontextualizes previous depictions. In context of the world, not through an audience perspective, what is actually happening with this? I have to wonder just what is next for her character. Apparently, nobody at the IDW team knows how to make anybody feel any genuine emotion. Could you imagine the massive fight that would have broken out between Tangle and Sonic about letting somebody go?
You're tuning in to the Eggman Empire. Authorization approved. Access granted.
What is happening, ingrates? My name is KotyTang. We're finally back to the main series of the IDW comics after our detour with bad guys. So that means we're back to Evan Stanley's writing. We'll be exploring Belle's character in the next few issues. But before we dive in, I have to inform you all that this is my first time experiencing the IDW comics. So please be careful about discussing spoilers in the comments below. With that said, let's get some Sonic content rolling. Issue 37. Sonic, Tails, and Belle arrive somewhere and lead Belle into the Resistance's base, housed inside of a shed. Oh, what happened to Silver's garden? All of the life's been sucked at it. After pulling one of the tools on the wall, the shed reveals itself to be an elevator and the three descend into the Restoration's base. We see that the base has been transformed to be an underground miniature city in its own right, even housing a grocery store. Sonic is quickly reunited with Amy and Jewel, which allows Sonic and Tails to immediately drop off Belle and then leave her in Jewel's care. But even Jewel throws her away to this sheep girl, who appears to be a very uptight person, as she's instructed to not call Jewel the director and instead just call her Jewel. So the sheep is tasked to deliver Belle to the machine shop, where hopefully Belle can help out the Restoration. While Belle figures out the rest of her life, we jump over to our heroes. From here we get a bit of backstory on how the Restoration's base was made. But then a Restoration member comes in telling Jewel to come look at something. What the fuck is this face? So we flash back to Belle and overhear two girls talking about Belle's ridiculous nose. Which is true, but you shouldn't say that. As Belle's dropped off, we get this shot here of the sheep character, so obviously she'll be important later, because what the hell was that shot otherwise? She's also once again told to not be so official and to relax. Now that Belle has a place to work, we watch as she fails at the most menial task. Eventually, her tail magically gets ran over and she kicks a box, almost killing some people, near a boat that the box just broke off its restraints. Thankfully, Tangle manages to catch the boat before any serious damage can occur. Belle is told to get out of the machine shop and Tangle attaches herself to Belle as her new friend, after also being told that she isn't even supposed to be there either. Tangle and Belle overhear some people talking about freak storms happening along the coast, with one even asking, is it Dr. Eggman again? I mean, I don't know, probably? He seems to be the only mastermind villain that hangs around in this region, either him or Dr. Starline. But then again, I don't think most of the general public even knows that he exists. Tangle picks up Belle and rushes straight to Jewel to tell her about what she just heard. However, the heroes have already been informed and are looking right at the cause of the storm. Everybody is now informed about a tower that has suddenly appeared in the nearby ocean. Sonic, Tails, and Amy prep to leave, as does Tangle, but Tangle is actually told to stay back and do some inventory instead. As Tangle leaves, inviting Belle to tag along, Belle has an idea, because she wants to see Dr. Eggman. Sonic, Amy, and Tails arrive at the tower, quickly dispatching the few badniks outside, as Eggman security usually consists of, and they break into the tower, immediately flying into a portal. Back to the girls. Tangle and Belle commandeer some kind of bike thing that Belle hotwires. Tangle, who was originally doubting the idea due to her friendship with Jewel, is now fully along for the ride, as they zip toward the tower anyway. Inside the tower, Sonic and the gang quickly find that they're in a maze, but thanks to a badnik that was carrying a piece of chalk, for some reason, Tails is able to discover that the maze is constantly changing. Sonic decides to speed through it, eventually leading them to some reality-bending type place, where they literally break through the maze and end up who knows where. Wait, so like, did Mr. Tinker throw Belle away because of how much of a liability she was? Watching her work and try to do things, my god, she's so useless. Also, why would Mr. Tinker design Belle's tail like that? Also, the fact that Belle says she was built for this kind of work, how crazy is it that she's the one thing Mr. Tinker completely botched? Bro could make and fix anything except for her. So let me get this straight. If everybody is a volunteer at the restoration, are they like not getting paid? Is the restoration getting paid? I seriously have to wonder just who is funding the restoration. They completely excavated an entire underground base equipped with a grocery store entirely off of free labor and in record time, no less. I don't care how efficient Jewel is. There's no possible way she was able to assemble all of this and create this kind of base off absolutely $0. IDW is out of their minds. The restoration has to be more than just some volunteers. Where are all the materials coming from, and who is funding this entire operation? Also, can I just point out that Tangle is a kinky lemur? Now just why is she wrapping Belle's tail around her tail like that? And even worse, she's making that overwhelmed with pure ecstasy-induced type of face. You know, IDW might have hidden a bit of a fetish for Tangle in the comic. Now that I'm looking back, this scene really recontextualizes previous depictions. Also, I'm glad that Tangle is just hanging around in the exact location that this monkey hippie told her to not be. Very convenient for Belle and everybody that could have been hurt in this instance, where Belle almost dropped this boat on a bunch of people. Now, this next thing is interesting. According to IDW, Eggman doesn't branch out. Every single plan he's ever done, every plot he's ever had, they've all just taken place in this little region right here, right next to every single hero. That's just what Eggman does, apparently. I mean, seriously, IDW, what was the point of writing this tower to be right by Seaside City? It could have been anywhere, and you purposely put it next to one of the largest cities? Oh wait, of course, I have to think about this in universe. It's that Eggman does want to be caught. Because remember, according to how Sonic and Eggman talk about each other, this is all just one big game where they one-up each other all the time. The plan is never to actually kill the other, it's to outdo each other. And the time after that, and the one after that. Also, the restoration has a scouting drone? What? Either Jewel is better at designs than Tails, or Amy didn't know how to use 90% of the technology that the Resistance and Restoration had stored up. Amy, why are you so ass? I find it funny how Tangle is reluctant to go on an adventure with Sonic because Jewel said so. But then when Belle tells her to go break the rules, she's majorly on board with it. Oh, and speaking of this rebellious plan, Belle's idea is, well, I can't outright tell everybody that I'm going to head to the tower, so instead, I'll just go there without telling anybody and make a ton of noise on my way out to do it. And not only that, if I happen to meet Sonic and the rest of the gang there, it will somehow make it even less suspicious that I just decided to go there without saying anything to anybody. Incredible logic from Belle there. Why would the egg pawns need to use the chalk? No, it makes sense for people to use this method. However, this seems to have just been placed here so that Tails can figure out that the walls are always changing later on. Cause, no, seriously, what would the purpose of the egg pawn using the chalk be? Issue 38. Sonic, Tails, and Amy fall into a whole dimensional space where Eggman is somehow able to mess with physics. Okay. They eventually leave that space in between and head into yet another space, but this time it's an eerily deserted looking town. We jump over to Belle and Tangle as they arrive at the tower, giving a poor landing as they destroy the hoverbike thing that they rode here on. Upon entering the tower, Belle is unable to stop looking at the giant emblem of Dr. Eggman. Wow, so subtle. For some reason, neither Belle or Tangle are forcefully pulled into a doorway like Sonic and the rest were, so instead they're able to sneak around the base. Their sneaking leads them to Orbot and Cubot, who feel forced to call Eggman and inform him that Sonic has arrived. Thankfully for them, Eggman is actually happy that Sonic and the rest are there. Belle begins to note how concerned she was to hear the actual Eggman, but before she could finish her sentence, she falls down onto the catwalk. From here, 3 egg pawns ignore Belle in a situation she would otherwise die. Wow. So subtle. So Tangle yanks Belle up and begins questioning her, where Belle immediately spills all the details about Eggman being her creator, something that she apparently wasn't sure of? What? Wow, how direct she is with this information. After just 2 issues of getting to know Belle. Tangle lets Belle live, stating that since Sonic and Tails vouch for her, and seeing as how Belle is trying to do good, she's fine. And instead, Tangle is going to help her get some answers about Eggman. Meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, and Amy are still dealing with the logic-defying world that Eggman has crafted inside the tower. Although Sonic tries to break this simulation as well, he quickly realizes that he's still stuck in some sort of loop like the maze before. The 3 enter a building and discover puppets in the place of people, making the whole town even creepier to them. Eventually, the team come face to face with some badniks who appear to be combined with one another, creating significantly altered versions of the original badniks. Although our heroes manage to defeat them, an entire horde is seen coming down the road, which prompts the gang to barricade the doors so the badniks can't get in. Interestingly, we apparently don't believe that Sonic and Amy could take care of these badniks. Okay. While Tails attempts to track where the badniks may be coming from, Eggman is heard laughing in another room. However, it turns out to just be Eggman talking through a toaster for some reason. Oh, and also the mixer, the fridge, and the stove. I guess he just has a microphone on these things? Again, for some reason? He never planned that Sonic and his friends would be here, and he has no reason to speak to the badniks, since he could just send a remote communication to them. Anyway, Eggman is now about to start sending some new badnik ideas onto some real dummies. Just feel like I should point this out. Tails doesn't speak like this. This joke where he goes into incredible detail, where he overly explains the exact specifics of what's going on with words of grandeur, is just not how he explains things. The part where he says they're in a weird bubble where Eggman's messing with physics is much closer to how he would actually describe something. Tails, in the vast majority of cases, uses simpler, easy to understand language. There's a scene where Orbot asks how Sonic and his friends even found out about the base. Well, if we look back at the last issue, the entire tower is causing massive storms along the coast. I would imagine that they'd be able to tell that the weather has shifted from calm to extremely rough for a while, and it hasn't returned. Even more, I can't imagine why they would have no idea what's going on outside unless this tower just suddenly popped into existence. I feel like it would make sense that they should be aware of the drastic changes it causes to the environment before they even start the thing up. Eggman included, because he literally says he wasn't expecting Sonic to show up. It's interesting that Belle notes how she had no idea that her creator was Eggman. Either she's completely fucking lying, or this is a massive oversight on IDW's part. Not a single interaction with Belle has ever led to even a slight impression that she had no idea that she was created by Eggman. We found her in an Eggman base, searching for her creator. She refuses to even describe what her creator looked like, even after both Sonic and Tails tried to get it out of her. She shakingly and even awkwardly denies that Eggman made her when brought up. She knew exactly how to read Eggman's coding that not even Tails was able to understand. Of course, her character design out of universe is just a direct translation of Mr. Tinker's character design. Leading up to the moment in this issue, she's nervous about hearing Eggman is up to no good. She's afraid to tell everybody that she wants to go to Eggman's tower, and instead, she devises a plan with Tangle just so that she can go unnoticed. Belle is majorly distracted at the giant emblem of Eggman, and then of course, the final reveal that the audience would not be surprised by, the egg pawns don't respond to her at all. There was literally never even remotely a mystery. So I don't understand why IDW is bothering to try and write her character as if she never knew. Every single scene with her heavily displayed that she has always known and has never second guessed this. She only wanted it to not be true. Issue 39. Tangle and Belle watch as Orbot and Cubot create these brand new combination badniks. Unfortunately for Orbot and Cubot, these new randomized badniks don't stick around long, and Belle and Tangle use that to their advantage to sneak up on the two robots. Tangle knocks over a bunch of rubber wires, which makes Orbot stressed over the fact that he spent hours organizing them in alphabetical order. And I agree with Cubot. Why would Orbot spend hours stacking those alphabetically? It isn't even alphabetical anyway. Now that Tangle has the two tiny bots all wrapped up in her tail, she can begin questioning them. But we jump over to Sonic, Tails, and Amy for now as they deal with what Eggman has in store. Tails is able to find out where the badniks are being sent from. However, Eggman messes with gravity, opening up a massive void in the sky. Sonic can apparently just casually trampoline off of literal puffs of smoke because of the gravity? Yeah, I don't think it works like that. Also, how is Tails flying so casually right now? Eventually, the three agree with Sonic to just let themselves fall into the void, assuming that's what Eggman wants them to do anyway. Sonic's hunch is correct, as Eggman unleashes an electrified version of the Egg Viper, after an unnecessary
"Get a load of this!"
fan jerk-off line delivered by Eggman. The crew are able to dispatch the Egg Viper with a bit of teamwork, but suddenly, 3 more Egg Vipers appear with brand new attachments, abandoning the electric-based version. Eggman is shown to be controlling these robots like he's in a VR game. Yeah, how the hell does that work? There's 3 of them. He can't possibly be controlling them all at once. Eggman begins attacking the gang, sending the Fire Viper out first, and Amy is just now on fire and screaming for help, yet nobody even helps or pays attention to her. Nice. The crew is overpowered by the Egg Vipers, so while that's happening, we jump back to Tangle and Belle. Tangle attempts some reverse psychology on Orbot and Cubot, but the silly bots refuse to give up any information on where Sonic is. Instead, they inform the girls that some egg pawns will be on their way. However, Belle redirects those egg pawns, so that won't be happening. Belle is able to pull up a video feed of Sonic and the rest, but she's unable to figure out which portal will lead them directly to them. Tangle again psychs out Orbot and Cubot, where they accidentally may have revealed which door will lead Tangle to Sonic. Tangle ties her tail to a pole nearby and prepares to hop inside. And after denying a quick protest from Belle about what may happen if she jumps inside, Tangle is off. Why would Orbot and Cubot not know who or what Belle is? They're directly tied to the Eggnet. The egg pawns sure immediately recognized that Belle was one of them, but a robot with more sentience just can't even fathom or process that information. What's the logic behind that? Is there any reason that Sonic has just been ultra grabby with Amy in this issue? I mean, aside for the part where Amy is literally on fire, if we really look at it, at this point in the canon, Amy is more than capable of completely taking care of herself. She's far from the helpless little girl that was more of an inconvenience than an asset. She's an actual member of the team. In the case of Forces, and this comic, she was a leader of the team. The damsel in distress gimmick no longer works. There's no reason that at any point the fearless restoration leader would constantly be getting whisked away to safety like a helpless civilian. It's not like we'll ever see Sonic providing this sort of help to Tails. In fact, we don't at all. In all 4 of these issues, even when they're about to be lasered in this issue, Sonic shouts for Tails, but saves Amy. Tails is probably the most screwed up out of the 3 when he's flying in the zones that are ruining the gravity. He would naturally have trouble flying in any direction, yet for whatever reason, not only is he perfectly fine, Sonic shows absolutely no concern for his safety ever. Is it safe to just chalk this up to Son-Amy fanfiction by Evan Stanley? Issue 40. As Sonic and his team continue to engage in combat with Eggman, they manage to destroy one of the Egg Vipers. And then Tangle arrives to break up the party a little bit. Meanwhile, Belle begins a dialogue with Orbot and Cubot. Belle almost starts arguing with them about how her creator is not Dr. Eggman. But once they start describing things they do for Eggman, she gets a more longing expression, as both Mr. Tinker and Eggman apparently enjoyed the same type of things. This moment is broken up by Eggman attempting to contact Orbot and Cubot. From here, he finally comes face to screen with Belle. Eggman fully confirms that Belle was indeed created by Dr. Eggman. As Mr. Tinker, though. Eggman tells her to stay put while he deals with Sonic as he has questions. But as a consolation, he gives her a breakdown of just how different he is from Mr. Tinker. He does this by describing some specifics of the tower she's currently in. Belle breaks down over this, however, she has no time to dwell on what she's just had confirmed to her, as the portal beside her begins destabilizing thanks to Tangle's tail hanging out of it, which will result in Tangle's untimely death if she doesn't return soon, and possibly even the deaths of everybody still in the tower. Thankfully, Tangle and everyone inside are able to return to the portal just as Eggman regains control of the Egg Vipers. The gang all rush out the tower, with the portal attempting to suck them in, which results in Orbot and Cubot tagging along for the exit strategy. Our heroes and some villains are able to make it to Tails' plane and leave just in time as the entire tower disappears. Amy states that the restoration doesn't take prisoners, so the gang all agree to just toss Orbot and Cubot into the ocean. That's probably more dangerous than taking them prisoner. The two bots use this opportunity to take it as now being able to take a vacation from Eggman. So that's nice for them. Belle is still completely distraught over finding out the information that she already knew, but wanted so badly for it to be false. Tangle is able to cheer her up and remind her that Mr. Tinker would be proud of her today, which makes Belle feel a little better about all of this. And with that, the storm is cleared, and a new adventure can begin. Have you ever heard of one of the most legendary organizations in the universe? Well, since I can clearly see that you're not subscribed, of course your stupid ass hasn't! Be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you've been enjoying the video. Don't forget to leave a comment below about what you think about the IDW series so far. Now back to the video. Can we get Amy a new outfit? Preferably one that matches her new character direction. I'm sorry, but the cutesy, ooh oopsie, my whole butt and cheeks are literally in your face right now. I'm such a quirky, non-combatant side character persona is long gone. If Amy is gonna be participating in situations that are extremely strenuous and action-heavy, instead of having to censor the fact that everybody can clearly see her nearly bare p***y, how about we just get her some pants to wear? Literally just put her in some shorts at the very least. In context of the world, not through an audience perspective, what is actually happening with this? I don't agree with Sonic saying that what happens to Orbot and Cubot isn't their call. Yeah, maybe to your bitch ass, Sonic, but it logically wouldn't be for nearly everybody else. The fact that the entire cast just let Sonic speak for them is pretty dumb. He's not even a part of the restoration. He's just a guy that keeps popping up and letting one of the worst villains in the world and all of his lackeys under him leave scot-free. Sonic must actually be just a big-ass bully to these people because they're so whipped by him. It's like off-screen he beat everybody into submission into just listening to everything he says. What if in the scene with Orbot and Cubot, Tango was like, actually guys, I don't think we should let them go. Could you imagine the massive fight that would have broken out between Tangle and Sonic about letting somebody go? Somebody needs to step up to this guy. I promise. He might yell at you, but he's not gonna just start beating your ass. If he did, I don't think he'd have as much respect as he does. The Restoration needs to gain a backbone against this dude. Sonic is 99% of the reason everything keeps going to shit. And it's not because so many people are after him. It's really because he doesn't have the balls to officially stop anybody and instead uses his shitty, inherently flawed philosophy as a cover-up to his cowardice. Yet he has the nerve to also actually get pissed at the people that he enables. Sonic is the reason these niggas keep coming back. Fuck you, Sonic, and fuck you, everybody in and related to the Restoration, for enabling Sonic. I guess Mr. Tinker gave Belle some fluid inside her head because she's able to cry for some reason. She must even have some extremely advanced warpable wood because she's capable of wailing and ugly crying. I have to wonder how much of that liquid in her head is left by now. Also, if she's made of wood, does she have, like, molds on the inside of her? Is her wooden structure breaking down slowly from water damage? I do find it interesting how Eggman points out that he uses the actual animal people like Sonic to give power to his robots. I mean, it makes sense, but he doesn't really do that. Even back when he was testing the metal virus, he was using the animal critters, not the more advanced races like Tangle, Rouge, or Knuckles. It's probably less efficient to use a person with a family as an energy source anyway. You know, maybe what he means by test subjects is actually just using the robots on them to, you know, test ways to kill somebody? Now, I have to discuss why this arc is written poorly, and show how Belle's entire character and purpose ended faster than a drag race of 20 feet. So, serious question. What is the point of Belle? We literally just completed her story. Her arc is completely over. We finally found out who created her. And Mr. Tinker isn't coming back. So, what is next for Belle? What is she going to do? Become a member of the Restoration? Okay, cool. But why do we need to see her anymore then? Truly, what is the next arc for Belle? At the moment, what I feel would probably be best for her character is to have her replace Mr. Tinker. Send her to Windmill Village, or have her travel around just fixing or making things. Well, actually, even that wouldn't work, because as we saw in issue 37, she's actually completely incapable of doing even menial tasks. It's as though Mr. Tinker designed her to be completely incapable, a massive klutz, and he even embedded into her a flaw that would make her donkey kick people if they ever accidentally even stepped on her tail. So what actually can she do? See, Belle's character is entirely designed to fail at everything she's ever done. Even in real life when it comes to her writing. Her design immediately gives away the mystery of her creator. Everybody in the cast even immediately guesses that she's made by Eggman, so by the time you start getting the direct confirmations, you're not surprised in the slightest. And when she cries about all this, you don't care, because you literally met Belle 2 issues ago. I don't know anything about this character. I'm not sad for her, and I genuinely just don't care about her. I've only known her for a couple seconds. IDW has this strange obsession with tier bait drama. They don't set anything up, they just let it happen and then expect you to be sad about it. This is exactly how they wrote Whisper's character. Apparently, nobody at the IDW team knows how to make anybody feel any genuine emotion. At the moment, Belle's a completely worthless and uninteresting addition to the story. She adds nothing to the plot and nothing to any of our character dynamics. At least with Rough and Tumble, they were immediately taken out of the story after we met them. Same with Tangle and Whisper. But not for Belle. Oh no. She's been in the story since we met her now. I have to wonder just what is next for her character. Eggman did say that he had questions for her, but I can't possibly imagine it's anything more than how similar she is to the other badniks. And maybe how he can dismantle and rework her, which would probably be the best fate for Belle's character, unironically, forcing her to be a pawn to Eggman and no choice but to destroy her. I'll have to speak much more on her in the full saga review, but those are my current thoughts about her character for now. I need to tell you this. I need to let you know this, because I know you're scared. I know you're a little scaredy cat, fraidy pants, doo-doo. Come join the Discord server by heading down to the description below. If you ever wanted to debate on why Whisper and Mimic are some of the worst written characters of the IDW series, or if you ever wanted to argue about why Sonic and Elise is a top 3 canon couple, you can get all of that and more by joining the Eggman Empire Discord server. I hope to see you there. Well, I gotta say it. These 4 issues were a whole lot of nothing. You've let me down, Evan Stanley. I was praising you. I thought you had it, but then you proved me wrong in the next 4 issues you do. Upsetting. But you still have a chance. A chance to redeem yourself. You can come back, and I'll ignore this flub that you did. Show me what you got, Evan. Alright. Time to see what the next saga is about. Oh my god, is that the Deadly Six? Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, join the Eggman Empire Discord. Okay, bye!